So Teofimo calls out Shakur Stevenson. What y'all think about that, man? I'm excited about that. I really want to see that fight. Right? I really want to see that fight. They both young. They still got a lot in the tank. We know Shakur just came off a masterful performance against William Zepeda. Teofimo didn't look bad himself in his last bout. Against Barboza. I think this fight right here is what boxing needs. I know everyone wants to see Shakur fight Tank, but Tank got a lot going on right now. We don't even know if the matchup between Tank and Lamont Roach is going to happen. But I think this fight right here is the fight that people need to see. I think the winner of that needs to, if Tank and Lamont Roach fights, whoever wins this fight, if Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo fights and Tank and Lamont Roach fight, I think the winner of those fights need to fight each other. I think when we talk about the 135-pound division, who's the king at 135, I think they need to make that happen. I think this would be great for boxing. I know Lamont Roach was talking about going up and fighting Devin Haney, maybe at a catch weight or what have you. But I think if Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo fights, Tank and Lamont fights, whoever is the winners from both sides, they need a fight. And then y'all can go ahead and move up and maybe fight, Devin or Boots. Well, Boots went to 154, so Boots is out of there, right? But, we got Devin over there. So I think that's where the mix, and it could get real interesting real quick. It could get real interesting real quick. Because let's just say, hypothetically speaking, y'all, let's just say whoever wins between Tank and Lamont, whoever wins between Shakur and Teofimo, and then now you got Brian Norman and Devin Haney, then man, this boxing gets real quick. It gets real sticky real quick. But let's talk about Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo. Teofimo calling out Shakur Stevenson, and Shakur responding back and said, "I heard you talking about me. I heard you calling for me. Said, let's make it happen, little Teo. What's stopping it from happening?" Right now, people don't accuse Teofimo for, just talking and not really delivering. Right, just saying he want to fight people, but not really showing up and signing the deal and closing the deal, so that way those fights can happen. But I think if the talk is real, I think that if it's legitimate, I can see Teo saying, "You know what? I take on Shakur." And the reason why I think he would take on Shakur is because he may feel like Shakur can't get him out of there. He may feel like Shakur got brittle hands. He's dealing with hand injuries and things like that. So he may feel like, hey, look, if I go against Shakur, I got a better chance at beating him than I do maybe with Tank or where. Not saying that he don't believe that he could beat Tank, but he just may play the odds. Like he may feel like he has a better chance with beating Shakur versus beating Tank or what have you. But I think this is get very interesting. Shakur, who's a masterful boxer, great IQ, great footwork as far as knowing when to go in, knowing when to go out, knowing how to give angles. And Shakur just fought William Zepeda, and he fought him on the ropes, y'all. He fought him on the ropes. He had the Philly shell and everything, and he was countering, hooks, uppercuts and hooks. And, Shakur fought a masterful boxing fight. Now, I know people are going to say, well, he got hit a lot. But that's because he chose to stay in that line of fire. But when Shakur was in that center of the ring, William Zepeda had nothing for him. William Zepeda had nothing for him at all. William Zepeda, he was able to get the best out of Shakur a little bit when he had Shakur on the ropes, and that's when he hit Shakur with that good shot, and Shakur slipped. Now, on the other hand, we got Teofimo, he's a slick fighter. Very good on his feet, very elusive, very agile. So will Shakur be able to get to Teo if Teo starts to move around and he's boxing, he head movements and things of that nature? Will he be able to get to him? I don't know. But that would be very, very interesting to watch. I personally, if I had to score it, or if I had to give a percentage, I'm going to give a percentage, right? If I had to give a percentage of who I believe wins, I'm going to give 55 to Shakur, 45 to Teo. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because Shakur brought out another side versus Williams Zepeda that we haven't seen in a long time, or we haven't seen at all. Now, a lot of people say Shakur be running. A lot of times people say Shakur be running, but people can't name a fight outside of De Los Santos where Shakur actually was on the bicycle. I thought when he fought De Los Santos, that was probably his worst performance. But outside of him fighting De Los Santos, who has Shakur ran from? That's what I'm trying to understand. Who has Shakur ran from outside of De Los Santos? Anybody that he has fought, he's always walked them down, stood in the pocket. You know, he didn't do a whole bunch of movement or excessive movement. But when we have Teo, who's very good on his feet, and Teo can crack. Teo got power. But Shakur, I believe Shakur got a chin too. And so people say, well, he fought Williams Zepeda. Y'all realize that Williams Zepeda is 33-1 with 27 knockouts. 33-1 with 27 knockouts. Let me say that one more time. 33-1 with 27 knockouts. And Shakur was able to withstand the storm. So that tells you something about his defense that Williams Zepeda wasn't able to do to Shakur what he's been able to do with everybody else. Now, I love Teofimo's last fight as well too, on the undercard with Devin Haney and Ryan and Rolly and Ramirez. I thought to me he probably had the best fight overall because he displayed hit and not get hit. He displayed movement, but he was exchanging. He wasn't just moving and not throwing anything. Teofimo was actually fighting, right? So this is why I think this is going to be an interesting fight. Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, man. Now, and the reason, again, I'm going to give it 55 because we know Teofimo, he has a very crazy mouth. And he done said a lot of slick things. So a part of me is on the gives a little bit more to Shakur versus Teofimo outside of the skills. And we want to just talk about how I feel personally. I'm gonna go more so with Shakur than I do with Teofimo Lopez. But I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think it's going to be chess. We just seen the sparring come out between the two, where it wasn't a long clip, maybe like 10 seconds or so, but you see it's a chess match. Both are thinkers, both are very analytical, both are surgical with it, very strategical. So it's going to be a chess game until someone decides to say, hey, look, I'm gonna take a little bit more risk. And that's going to be interesting to see who's willing to take a little bit more risk and not just play chess all day. Like someone's going to have to make that move and jump into that fire, and that would be interesting to see who's going to be the one to do that. So, listen, this is Boxing Legends Lounge, the best of the best, the home of the home, where we talk about nothing but the real when it comes to boxing. Listen, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Who y'all got, Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez? Y'all know the vibes. Wow, we out of here.